Hey guys, Zen here, and welcome back to the channel. The gaming sphere is on fire moving into 2020, guys, and there's a bunch of early details that I want to pour over in this video. Now, next year will be huge because 2 new consoles will launch in the market, and personally, I'm looking forward to both of them. And so to switch it up a bit here, that is where this begins. Microsoft unveiled the Xbox Series X during the 2019 Game Awards, and since the announcement, they've included new details that reveal a little bit more about the new system. For starters, you guys should know that what we saw is only one of the new consoles Xbox is planning on releasing next year. This new console is a part of a series, as the name states, and what we got on stage was probably the more powerful or most powerful of the lineup. This generation, we got the Xbox One, the One S, and then the X. So there is the potential for at least one additional console coming out of Microsoft. Now, something a lot of people just haven't noticed is that the console will in fact launch with a brand new redesigned controller. The ergonomics have been altered from the Xbox One controller to be more comfortable. They've also added a new share button, very similar to the one currently available on the PS4 to quickly capture gameplay and screenshots, and it'll include a new hybrid D-pad inspired by the one on the Elite controller series 2. So again, a full new console offering with both a new system and controller, but what's inside is what's really the game changer here. The Series X will feature ray tracing, a new lighting technology. It'll be capable of 4K 60 frames per second gaming and possibly even 120 frames per second with dynamic refresh rate. Guys, consoles have never gone beyond 60 frames per second in any AAA game, and so this alone is a brand new experience that'll surprise those of you who choose to upgrade. For me, when I switched over to PC and started playing games at over 100 frames per second, it really is just a complete game changer. It's something that you notice immediately, and it feels just super smooth to play games on, especially shooters. Now, it isn't just about buttery smooth gaming. In a game like Rainbow Six Siege, for example, this can be the difference between staying up or getting taken out. Ultimately, it can be the difference between getting a win or taking a loss. Now, for those of you worried about the money you've already spent this generation, the Series X will be backwards compatible, but with every single Xbox console ever released. So even you old school Duke users can play all of your favorite original Xbox games on this new system. And most of the later accessories will also still work, like the Elite controller you're using today. Finally, for those of you curious, yes, of course you can lay this thing flat on its side, but don't just take my word for it. The head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, confirmed that's how he has his Series X set up, and it's designed for you to display it in either vertical or horizontal fashion. The last bit you can't really miss is that the new Xbox will still feature a disk drive. Now, there has been a rumor floating around that there is a console in this series that won't include a disk drive, but for what they've shown off, this one most definitely will. So GameStop is still in the clear, and again, your old game library and physical stuff should all be compatible. So all in all, this is big. This is just epic for the console audience, and I think there's a lot here to warrant checking it out. Personally, I think this cycle of consoles will make a bigger impact on gaming than the Xbox One and PS4 have. With higher refresh rates and lower latency, it opens up an all-new competitive realm that consoles have basically always been left out of. Now, I am a PC gamer, and I'm sure many of you here are as well, and just to be blunt, no, this new system isn't tearing you away from your $3,000 rig, but for a retail of under $1,000, most likely closer to $500, you're looking at a lot of performance for the money. Now, to be honest, console doesn't typically get a lot of love out of this community, but with the upgrades made to the hardware, it could be possible that a Pro League makes a return when Siege becomes available, and we're yet to get confirmation, but I do see this console launching with native keyboard and mouse support, which could mean a change to Rainbow Six Siege as well. But that's basically everything that's come out about the Xbox Series X. It may come as a surprise, but I am over the moon about this console and the upcoming PlayStation 5. And hey, maybe we'll unbox them and all that stuff. So just let me know if you'd enjoy that content. All right, guys. So next up, we're going to come back into form and talk about Rainbow Six Siege. First up, guys, the Ela Elite has been released and is finally here. It's called the Hook Zuki. Hopefully I didn't just botch that, but you guys get the point. And Rainbow released an interview between a reporter and Ela herself. I ask, what does identity mean to you? To Ela, it's all kind of an act. She says the way you dress, how you act, the brands you buy, it all comes back to a status quo. You're never truly in control. Now, once this released, I took it for a spin and ranked, and well, we had a moment, guys.
Yeah.
New elite.
Oh yeah, yo, you see the gun skin. Oh, I'm buying it right after this game. This looks dope.
Oh yes. Jeans, bro.
Damn, bro.
So
Bounce
big.
Oh, check out the Gers mod.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. So yeah, the Ela Elite is finally here, and if I'm not mistaken, this was probably supposed to release with Ember Rise as the mid-season Elite, but to my knowledge, we never actually had the midpoint Elite release that season. Of course, Capital's Responsa set launched with Shifting Tides, and the man with the golden crossbow is looking more youthful than ever, and so I'm wondering if we'll get another Elite this season, or if we just won't see the next one until year 5. Now, if you guys were wondering, out of the two, I've just gotta go with Ela here. She could probably use a buff, especially after her recent shotgun nerf, but to be honest, we've been waiting for this Elite for a while, and her victory animation is just amazing. Probably the best in year 4. But of all of them, let us know your favorite Elite of year 4. Let us know in a comment down below. Next up, the game has been patched a few times recently, which have brought in a few healthy updates to the game. Well, mostly. You guys should know that the South African servers have gone live, and so for those in that area, connectivity should be much better and much more stable. What's crazy is that prior to this, those in South Africa had to rely on servers throughout the rest of Africa and even some parts of Europe before actually getting local servers there, and I've heard some horror stories about ping and latency from out that way, and so things should be much more comfortable for you guys out there, and this also applies to every platform, and other Ubisoft titles could also benefit from the upgrade as well, so cheers to that. Moving on, guys, unfortunately Clash has been disabled yet again. As it stands today, Clash is unplayable. Apparently, there was another exploit with the operator that made her able to fire her weapon while the CCE shield was up, basically making it impossible for attackers to fire back at her, and of course, Ubisoft had to step in and disable the operator for play in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, Clash has had almost no break since her release back in Grim Sky. For those of you who don't know, when she was first ever launched, she came with an ADS bug that enabled her to switch from shield to weapon instantly and aim down sight at the exact same time. A lot of players thought this was just how she worked until the devs came out and basically admitted to the bug. She's also been hit with nerf after nerf, and above all of that, she's been completely disabled now twice in the game, something no other operator, even year 1 Blackbeard, can say. Now, I've always loved Clash. I also think she's one of the most criminally underrated operators in all of Siege, but it seems that adding a shield on defense hasn't been so easy, and keeping her available in the game hasn't been so simple either. And so hopefully they can figure this out soon and she can be made available quickly here. For context, the last time this happened, she was out for essentially the entire season. Now, this exploit seems to mirror the last one pretty closely, and so because of this, it could be some time before she's open for play again. In the meantime, I will say that they've nipped this one in the bud much faster. The last time it became so widespread, it was a part of basically every ranked game, but this time Ubi seem to have swooped in, and hopefully they get a grasp on it so we can have this content available as soon as possible. So beyond that, the Season 4.1 patch comes with some bug fixes and adjustments to a few maps. Nothing super game-changing here as we turn out the year. Next up, we're talking year 5, the next year of content for Siege, and it's because recently a job listing went up looking for a new game designer to work at the Montreal offices, specifically on Rainbow Six Siege. They say they're looking for someone full of ideas with the current level of over 100 and at least 30 ranked games in Ember Rise. So basically, they're looking for someone who actually plays this game, and competitively at that, with the ranked requirement. Now, I wanted to put this out there because one, it's interesting, at least to some degree, but secondly, it's the kind of post this community needs to be made aware of because it's someone from within the community they're looking for. Now, Ubisoft, I've got a couple of operator ideas myself. If you'd like to go over them, sure, I'd love to get a cup of coffee and chat, but for the rest of you, if you're a part of this community, this is an opportunity. Now, speaking of game designers though, the senior artist of Siege came out and said, "This week we've made some big steps on something, and I'm so pumped to share it with you all. Obviously can't say anything, but year 5 is going to be awesome. Just wait." So it looks like Ubisoft is gearing up for a big year 5. We already know that Kali's company is going to play a huge role next season, and that there will be an entire story arc to follow Nighthaven throughout the year, but there is the potential for something even more substantial. We're still celebrating 50 million as a community, right? Like, this game and what's been built around it have been massive. But personally, year 5 is a year to make a statement. Hopefully we do see Rainbow Six Quarantine next year, the co-op 6 game featuring operators from Siege. It has been delayed, but it should still be a 2020 game. And with the launch of 2 new consoles, I mean, you can't be sure, but I could imagine Siege capitalizing on these big upcoming shifts. But posts like this get me excited though, and it's because the devs, the people who make this game, are still very happy and excited about the things to come. It hasn't just become a daily chore to keep the money machine up and running, so I'm happy for them and looking forward to what's in store. But that's the roundup, guys. Look, this year is coming to a close and 2020 is going to be massive all the way around. Expect more content as we learn more about Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, and of course anything Rainbow Six Siege or quarantine related. It's a great time to be subscribed, and of course I'm glad you're here. We're just getting started. But now I want to hear from you. What are your first impressions of the Xbox Series X, the brand new next generation console for next year? And what are you hoping for out of year 5 Rainbow Six Siege? Let us know everything in a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen. Thanks for watching. I'm out.